black people in Japan now being seen in a better light than ever before in the country. Guys, what's up? It's Ranza here. It's 2022, so happy new year to every single one of you guys that's watching this right now. It's another chance, another opportunity to give to the world what you have to give it, right? This is the year that you make an impact, that you make that change. So now this video is that Q&A that I promised you guys last year that I was going to release in the new year. I asked you guys to go over to Instagram and submit your questions, and I'm going to be answering them in this video. Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer all of them. So there were numerous questions asking about how long I would be in Japan or if I'm going to move back to Canada, right? So the answer to that question is God knows, right? Only time will tell. How much Japanese should I learn before going for a visit? Look, knowing the language is advantageous, right? If you're coming for a visit, it's not mandatory, but knowing the basics, right? If you have ample time before you visit Japan, right, when the borders open up back again, just use that time to just learn the basics, right? Learn hiragana, katakana, which is quite simple. You can learn that in a few days, stuff like that, right? So basic level Japanese would suffice for a visit, a brief visit in Japan. But of course, if you want to live here long term, it's advisable that you learn Japanese. So I think this is a good segue to move into the next question, where someone was asking, how is your Japanese? And how have you improved it? When I first came to Japan, my Japanese wasn't as good as it is right now. I've come a long way. I was focused on other things, to be honest, for the greater portion of my time in Japan. So I wasn't doing that daily study, which is advisable. Eventually, I decided to attend a language school in Japan. Yes, I did. So my Japanese right now is way better than it was before when I first moved to Japan, but I'm still not where I want to be. So I'll keep studying until I get to where I want to get to. The next question is, do you think the age of 50 is too late to move abroad? I love this question, and I think different people will answer this question differently. My answer to you is it's not too late. It's never too late. If you have the means to travel, if you're able to travel, if you're able to make the move, if there's an opportunity for you to move or relocate from where you are to somewhere else, I say do it if you want to do it. Do not allow your age to stop you. And whether or not there's someone else that moved overseas when they were in their 50s or 60s or whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't need to see an example before you do something. If someone hadn't done it before and you want to do it, do it. It's possible. I think it is. Another person asked, other than English teaching, is it possible to work in Japan in other fields? Of course, if you guys check the interviews on my channel, we have people from a lot of industries in Japan who are working. People in tech, people that run their own businesses, right? You have people who just do creative things, so many different things that people can do in Japan. The opportunity is here if you have the skills and you have the confidence to just go after whatever it is that you want, you can make it happen. So by no means you're pigeonholed, or you have to be pigeonholed into being an English teacher, right? Check the channel. There's like tons of examples of people who are doing different things, and even if there's no one that's doing what you want to do, be the first. The next question says, what are the major things I should be doing to prepare to move when Japan opens back up? Well, if we're talking about moving to Japan, you have to first secure an opportunity, right? Well, that might be the easiest way, right? That's the easiest way, right? Whether it's going to school, you have a job lined up, but you can always come to Japan and just, visit and just see if you like the country, try to connect with people right here. You might see an opportunity, a pathway to what it is that you want to do. And then, like if you get an opportunity, then you can secure a visa, the appropriate visa to stay in Japan long term. But definitely being able to speak Japanese will increase your marketability wherever you are right now, whatever country you're in. Try to spend as much time as you possibly can studying the language before you get here, right? Because you're looking to move here long term. Try to save some money as much as you possibly can where you are, because when you're coming here and you're going to move into a place, you got to furnish like a few $1,000s. So try to like save some money. Okay, so this question now might take a minute, so I might just drop like a link in the description to a video that I did before or something. I don't know. The person is asking me to tell them about my black experience in Japan, all the good and bad. I've been here for like 5+ years. Maybe I could go to maybe the best experience and maybe the worst experience, which might just narrow it down a little bit. The worst experience, There's this one moment when I was in Harajuku when my daughter was a lot younger, and I was pushing her in the stroller, and I was trying to go through the ticket gate from the train station and to exit the train station, and this Asian lady, she just walked in while I was trying to walk out through the same gate. It was this sort of confrontation, and I'm just like, wow, like really? Like, you're a woman and you see me with my daughter. She squeezed past me eventually because I'm like, I'm not moving. So that was, I think, one of the worst. As far as good experiences, specifically because I'm black, I don't know, I can't say. I've enjoyed my time here with my family. We've had a great time here overall. There's a few videos where I touched on my black experience. I'll just link them in the description down below, only because I don't want this video to be too long. But yeah, my collective experience overall has been positive. Okay, so this person's asking, how do you deal with burnout, if any? I think anyone that's a creator, like, burnout is a possibility. It happens. And I think how can you ward off or stave off burnout is, I don't know, just move at a pace that you can handle, that you can manage, take a break, get help. I think those things might help. Will it stave off burnout forever? I don't know, but taking a break seems like a good idea. Are black people in Japan now being seen in a better light than ever before in the country? Right? I can't say that quantitatively because I don't have the data to support that. There is increased awareness, however, even though it might not be where we'd like it to be, it still represents progress, right? So more visibility, more conversations being had. So I think we can look at that as a positive. What led you to move to Japan? And what about your decision? Were you right or wrong about? Interesting question. What led me to move to Japan? From the beginning, I've been an anime fan. Still, I'm an anime fan. I just don't have the time to watch as much anime as I used to way back in the day. But yes, I am an anime fan. That was what piqued my interest in Japan overall, and that was the truth. Art is a powerful magnet. So whether it's music, movies, TV shows, animation, whatever it is, these are the things that usually pull people. It's a form of soft power that lures you in to a different culture, and it's a really cool thing. I like it. And then when I moved from Jamaica to Canada, I pretty much forgot about moving to Japan until there was a day when I had this chance conversation, and this chance conversation just came up. She just stopped by my table because we were tabling, and she just stopped and we started to chat, and she just, you know, Japan came up. I can't remember how exactly, and she told me that she came to Japan on this teaching program, right? And she spent 2 years, and she's like, yeah, you should go. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I always wanted to go to Japan. And that same day I went home, I spoke to my wife, and I'm like, hey, do you want to go to Japan? And she's like, hey, why not? So we applied to this English teaching program. The deadline was 2 weeks away. We got accepted, and you know, a few months later we moved to Japan. So that was pretty much my story of how I moved to Japan, right? As it relates to what about my decision was I right about or wrong about, when I first moved to Japan, look, I had like a small business. I was working at this university part-time along with the business, and at the time when I moved to Japan, the business was like exploding. I took a risk in the sense that I had a business that was blossoming, and I had ideas, you know, to expand and do different things. And you know, I was like, okay, like, do I leave in this stage of growth, or do I, you know, just move to Japan for a year and come back? That was a plan, to put a pause on all I was doing with all my clients, move to Japan for a year, just experience living here, and then move back to Canada. That was a plan initially, which is a plan that you hear all the time from people, you know, in Japan. And you know, they planned 1 year, 2 years, and then 10, 15, 5, whatever, 25 years, 30 years, they're still in Japan. It's a very common story, right? So that was my case as well. When I first touched down, like, I had this sort of like euphoric feeling. It was like a dream come true, right? I enjoyed my time, but quickly I think I experienced some culture shock because I was so busy in Canada, and when I came to Japan I wasn't doing much at the time. So I'm like, oh man, I want to go back, you know, because I was still communicating with my clients. So I had to be up at like 2, 3 in the morning just to communicate with people, and then that was like, it was too much for me. So I sort of like just fizzled everything out, so that was a little bit challenging. That period, the first maybe 6 months, was a little bit challenging for me to make that sort of transition. I think it worked out, I guess. What was I wrong about? I don't think I was wrong about anything. Like, look, I'm an adventurer. That's me by nature. So I like exploring new places. I like exploring new ideas. I like doing new things. So, you know, regardless of how my time in Japan or elsewhere would have turned out, it's still a learning experience. It's still an experience. It's still an adventure, and it's a part of life. I'm the type of person that take risks, like big risks, right? I'm not sure about like other people, but I'm not risk averse. So I just do whatever it is I feel led to do. And I think that's how I live my life. And I think it's a beneficial way to live your life. life, especially when you have one life to live and you only have a finite amount of years just do whatever it is that's within your heart. Okay, so this has been going on for a while, but we still have a few more questions to go through. So if you're enjoying this video, please give it a big thumbs up and remember to subscribe to this channel. So I'm going to jump into another question, which asks, after all your interviews, can you summarize what skills we need to get a job in Japan? Usually, the most common prerequisite is a bachelor's degree, right? So that's usually the most common prerequisites. I've heard about stories of people coming here with an associate degree. So it really depends on just like your purpose of mind, how determined you are, how persistent you are in securing a position with the level of qualification that you have, right? There are people here who don't have a degree. It's possible. It really depends on the individual. If you have Japanese language speaking ability, as I said earlier, it increases your marketability. So if you can learn Japanese and just couple that with your degree, you'll be way more marketable than someone else. Some people are doing great without a degree as well. I'm increasingly beginning to think that it's not so much the circumstances, but the person, like who that person is, right? What's on the inside more than anything else that impacts someone's experience. So all the best to you. Do you feel like the African diaspora reality is the same everywhere? I do not. And the good thing is I've lived in very different places. Jamaica is very different from Canada. I've spent some time in America as well. And I've also clearly spent a few years, over 5 years in Japan. And the African diaspora reality is not the same in every region of the world or in every country in the world. In Jamaica, we don't suffer from the racism that you might be more acquainted with. In Jamaica, it's more classism, colorism, right? So it's a different experience. And then there are people, the motto for the country is out of many, one people. So you have black people, Caucasian, Indian people, Asian people, all just like living together, speaking Jamaican patois. You don't even see them as like different races. That whole mindset started to happen to me when I moved to Canada. And that was when I started to feel, I guess, real racism. Because in Jamaica, that wasn't something that you were acquainted with, right? It's more so like, what class are you from? You know, people treat you a certain way if you have money or not, the job that you do, your status, whatever, if you're really, really dark or really, really light. But we never experienced that. So the black experience in Jamaica is a little bit different. In Canada, it's closer to the racism that you'd experience in America. And I've experienced like a bit of racism in Canada, in different places, from not just Caucasian people, but other people as well in Canada. So that's a reality. It's not the same everywhere. There are places across the world where, you know, being a black person is not as burdensome as being, you know, a black person elsewhere. Thoughts for a black person wanting to start a business in Japan. It's possible. And if you talk to people, different people will have different answers to this question. A very common answer that you will get. And of course, it's rooted in our present reality, but it's not the only reality where you need a Japanese partner, whether it's a spouse or business partner overall, to help you to make it easy for you to secure a brick and mortar location. Someone who's native to the culture, right? To understand the landscape, the business landscape in Japan, the language, all these things. So it makes it a little bit easier, a lot easier actually, if you have a person that is a Japanese to partner with that shares a common vision with you as well. So that's usually the easiest way to do it. But there are other people who have done it, who you know, speak the language, they had the resources to do it. The thing is this, right? If you can secure a business manager's visa, right, you need capital of about 5 million N, about $50,000, a little bit south of that. It doesn't have to be liquid, but if you have it liquid, that helps as well significantly. You also need a location, a physical location. So the thing is this, if you're a black person in Japan, or a black person who want to come to Japan, or a foreigner overall who want to come to Japan and start a business, if you have the resources, it's not that hard. So the challenge is having the capital. So that's going to be the greatest challenge, I think. And it also depends on the industry that you want to enter in, because there are some businesses that might not work really well if they are run by a foreigner. Some other businesses might work well if you have the support, if you have maybe a Japanese face for the company. But it's definitely possible. I'm not going to tell you that it's not possible. There are people here who have been doing it for years. If you want to start a business, someone else's experience might not be your experience, right? Someone else might have an easier time, you might have a harder time. Someone else might have had a harder time and you might have an easier time. If someone says it might be hard, it is, it can be, but it might not be given your circumstances, your resources, your experience, all these things, your connections, your network, whatever, right? You might just have a different experience. So bear that in mind and always be optimistic. Yes, prepare for the worst, but expect the best. Hold up, don't go yet, don't click off just yet. For those of you guys who know about Faith Fridays, it's going to be on another channel, right? So we're bringing it back, but it's going to be on another channel, our gospel channel. You can find that on our channel page on this channel, right? And you can go and subscribe over there. Presently it's called No Christ, I Might might change the name, but it might be that name still. But go over there, subscribe, and we're gonna have like different things on that channel for you guys to watch as well as keep an eye on our other channels as well. We'll be releasing more content, new content this year as well for you guys to check out. And if you haven't been listening to our audio podcast, the link will be in the description down below to go and check out our podcast if you like listening to podcasts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for all the support from 2017 to this point. We're in 2022. Looking forward to just growing and journeying with you guys this year. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And if you have any other pressing questions, just send them to us on Instagram at TheBlackEXJP. Until next time, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.